Hello everyone, this is Sivaranjani, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science from KCS Kasinara College of Arts and Science. So today's topic is process of computational problem solving. So what is process of computational problem solving? So if we find a problem, we have to ask some steps to solve that problem. Before getting into the topic, we'll have a problem. Just see that problem in the next slide. So consider a problem where a man lives on the east side of a river. He wished to bring a cabbage, a goat and a wolf to a village on the west side of the river to sell. However, his boat is only big enough to hold himself and either the cabbage, goat or wolf. In addition, the man cannot leave the goat alone with the cabbage because the goat will eat the cabbage, and he cannot leave the wolf alone with the goat because the wolf will eat the goat. So here we have a problem, but we don't know how to solve this problem. Likewise, so to solve this problem, we have some steps. So the first step was analyze. First, we have to analyze the problem. So what are all the things in that problem? So what are all the issues in the problem? And the next step was describe data and algorithm. So we have to find whatever the data that we need to solve that problem. And the third step was implement program. So while in the second step we'll be finding algorithm to solve that problem. So with the help of algorithm, how to implement a particular programming language to solve the problem will be done in that third step. And the final step was test and debug. So if we find a solution for the problem, we have to check exactly whether that solution will solve the problem or whether it will take to a next error. So these are the process of computational problem solving. So here we see what are all the steps in a detail. So the next thing was problem analysis. So what was problem analysis? Here the problem analysis was split into two. The first one was understanding the problem. So once the problem is clearly understood, the fundamental issues for solving it can be determined. So for this problem, we have seen in the previous slide, we are using an algorithm called brute force algorithm. So the next step was knowing what constitutes the solution. So while deriving the problem, we'll be arriving at different solution. So we can arrive at a solution and we can find all the solutions and we can find any appropriate solution and we can find a best solution. So the best solution is the one that has the shortest number of steps in which the problem can be solved. And the next thing was problem design. So what was problem design? The first thing was we have to describe the data whatever needed in that problem. So in that particular problem we have seen in the previous slide, the first thing was we have to describe where that particular cabbage, goat and wolf was standing. And the next thing, how the algorithm was needed to that problem. To solve the problem, either we can use existing or a new algorithm. So if we are using new algorithm, we have to develop that particular thing. And moving on to the next step, that was problem implementation. So what was the problem implementation phase? So whatever the things we have collected in the design phase, with the help of that, will be giving the algorithmic approaches for that problem to solve it. And as well as I have told you, in the implementation phase, the programming language we have to use and how the implementation can be done will be decided in this third step. And moving on to the last step, that was problem testing. So what was problem testing? As I have already told you, so the testing is done incrementally as a program is being developed when the program is complete and when the program needs to be updated. As I have already told you, once we arrive at the solution, we have to estimate whether that particular solution is working for that problem. And then while doing the testing, we can just follow this particular things. The programming errors were inevitable, so we must accept it. So the programming errors can happen anywhere, so we can't say that the program can be error free. So once we have constructed the program, we have to go through the program, we have to do the testing, and then we can find the errors and debug it. So as I've already told you, once we are developing a software, the testing is the most essential part, and then the changes can be fully understood in the program and to detect the corrected error. So these are the process in solving the computational problems. So thank you.